Okay, thanks, Kristen. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, council, staff, delegates, and residents to the planning meeting for Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. And we are being streamed live. Thanks. I'll call the meeting to order at 5:30 with the land acknowledgement. We are meeting today on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within. We honor their cultures and celebrate their commitment to this land. We would also like to acknowledge the Mohawk and Algonquin nations, whose traditional and unceded territory we are gathered upon today. Hastings County is situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. Next is the approval of the agenda, and the recommendation is that the agenda of the planning meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Marmorant Lake for Tuesday, July 15th, 2025 be approved as presented. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Eric and Ron, any comments on that agenda? Being none, all in favor? That's carried. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest? Being none. Next, we need a the recommendation is that the foregoing minutes of the planning meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Marmorant Lake held Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025 be approved as presented. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Eric, and second. Ron, any comments or concerns over those minutes? Being none, all in favor? That's carried. Public meetings. This is the time set aside to permit anyone in attendance to speak in favor or in opposition to the zoning amendments. Public input will be received by council if a person or public body would have an ability to appeal the decision of the municipal council for the municipality of Marmorant Lake to the Ontario Land Tribunal, but the person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the municipality of Marmorant Lake before the bylaws pass, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make a written submission to the municipal council for the municipality of Marmorant Lake before the bylaws passed, the person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the Ontario Land Tribunal unless, in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to do so. So we're dealing with the proposed zoning bylaw amendment for 607 Malone Road, Marmorant Lake. The subject lands are presently zoned marginal agricultural. The purpose of the application is to rezone a portion of the subject lands from marginal agriculture zone to the rural residential zone, with the remainder of the property being rezoned from marginal agricultural zone to marginal agricultural exception number 9 zone to complete condition number 8 of consent to sever the application number B77/24. Is there anyone wishing to speak, or do we have any record of anyone wishing to comment? Okay, being none. Next are the zoning amendment reports. Zoning amendment bylaw number 2025-43P regarding 607 Malone Road and the legal description part of lot 20 concession 9. And the recommendation is that the County of Hastings Planning Staff report dated July 2nd, 2025 regarding rezoning of lands legally described as part lot 20 concession 9 be received, and that the zoning bylaw amendment 2025-43P regarding the rezonings of lands legally described as part lot 20 concession 9 be recommended for council adoption. Can I have a mover and a seconder for that? Mike, second. Eric, any comments or questions? We do have Emily in attendance if anyone has any questions or concerns. Okay, being none, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Next are the severance applications and reports. So consent file B28/25 for 783 Station Road, part of lot 9, concession 7, Part 2 on registered plan 21R 18356. And the recommendation is that the planning committee receive and approve the planning staff report dated June 3rd, 2025. That costs to the value of $1,200 cash in lieu of parkland be paid under section 33(8) of the Act. That all taxes be paid in full prior to granting consent. That road widening be required for the entire frontage of the severed and retained lands as deemed necessary by the manager of transportation services. That the severed lands be rezoned from recreational, resort, commercial, and marginal agricultural to rural residential. That all existing buildings on the severed and retained land be brought into compliance with the Ontario Building Code, including obtaining all required permits to the satisfaction of the building official. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Mike, second. Jane, any comments or questions on that recommendation? This isn't part of the public meeting. Sorry. So we had a mover and a seconder. Any questions, Ron?
Just a question for you, for Emily. I'm trying to kind of nail this down. How close is this to the landfill site? It's got to be awfully close. Is there a buffer zone between that, Emily?
So through Madam Chair, so this is within the buffer zone of the waste disposal site. This was a previously approved application, so I believe the intent of staff, as it is previously approved and there's an existing house, is that any potential impact that the former landfill site does have on the house is existing. So there's not introducing a new impact as a result of this application.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions of council? Being none, all in favor? That's carried. Bylaw number 2025-43P, zoning amendment 607 Malone Road, being a bylaw to amend comprehensive zoning bylaw number 2003-11 as amended. Can I have a mover and a seconder for that bylaw, Ron and Mike? Any comments? All in favor? That's carried. The confirming bylaw 2025-44P, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the planning meeting of the council held on the 15th day of July 2025. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Eric, and second. Mike, any comments? All in favor? That's carried. Need a motion to adjourn, Ron. Second. Mike, thank you. And it's Committee of Adjustment. So I'll pass the gavel to Mike.
Okay, we'll move into the Committee of Adjustment. Call the meeting to order at, I have no idea what time it is. 5:38. Okay. To have a recommendation, the agenda for the Municipality of Marmot Lake Committee of Adjustment meeting for Tuesday, July 15th, 2025 be approved as presented. Mover and seconder.
Mike.
And Eric. Okay. All in favor? Okay. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest? None. Motion for the minutes of the Municipality of Marmot Lake Committee of Adjustment meeting held Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. Recommendation that foregoing minutes of the Municipality of Marmot Lake Committee of Adjustment meeting held Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025 be approved. Can I have a mover? Jan, Eric? All in favor? Yep. Okay. Minor variance MV 2025-05 at 353 High Shore Road, lot floor on plan 532, part of lot 7, concession 2, Municipality of Marmot Lake. The purpose of the application is to permit the legalization of an existing carport. The carport is located on the existing retaining wall that is located on the shared property line. The applicant has requested relief from the following policy of the zoning bylaw number 2003-11. 10.3A, section 4, the principal building front yard minimum of 20 meters setback, which is 65.6 feet. 20 meters is required, while 15 meters, 49.2 feet is proposed. 10.3A, section 6, for the principal building interior side yard minimum of 3.9 meters, 9.8 feet is required, while 0 feet is proposed. 5.9.2, notwithstanding anything in this bylaw, no building structure or septic tank installation, including the Weeping Field tile field, no development shall be located, 1, within 30 meters, 98.4 feet, or 15 meters, 49.2 feet for a septic system of the high water mark of a water body or permanent water course, notwithstanding that such body of water or water course is not shown on any schedule forming part of this bylaw. 30 meters, 98.4 feet is required, while 16.5 meters, 54 feet is proposed. But this is a time set aside to permit anyone who requested to speak in favor of or in opposition to the minor variance application. Public input will be received by the Committee of Adjustment. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at the public meeting or make written submissions to the municipality of Marmon Lake within 20 days of the bylaw passing, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Okay, is there anybody? Have we received any correspondence? No. Okay. Moving on, minor variance MV 2025-06, 183 River Heights Road, lot 35 on Plan M72, municipality of Marmon Lake. The purpose of the application is to permit the development of a residential dwelling. The applicant has requested relief from the following policy of zoning bylaw number 2003-11. Section 7.3A, section 3, I guess it is, or triple I. Front yards minimum of 20 meters, 65.6 feet. Okay, 20 meters, 65 is required, while 13 meter, 42.7 foot is proposed. Okay. This is a time set aside to permit anyone who requested to speak in favor of or in opposition to the minor variance application. Public input will be received by the Committee of Adjustment. If a person or public body does not make oral submission at the public meeting or make written submissions to the municipality of Marmon Lake within 20 days of the bylaw passing, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Again, I don't see anybody, no written, okay. Okay. Decision, minor variance MV 2025-05, 353 High Shore Road, Lot 4 on Plan 532, part of Lot 7, Concession 2, Municipality of Marmon Lake. It's going to take a while. Recommendation that the minor variance application MV 2025-05 for lands located at 353 High Shore Road, Marmon Lake, legally described as Lot 4 on Plan 532, part of Lot 7, Concession 2, Municipality of Marmon Lake, to permit the legalization of an existing carport, excuse me, for the front yard setback for the preventable structure of 15 meters, an interior yard setback of 0 meters, and be setback of 16.5 meters to the high water mark of the property be approved. And that the Committee of Adjustment is satisfied the application meets the 4 tests of minor variance. The proposed use of a carport is desirable as it will allow for the orderly storage of vehicles on the property. The requested relief may be considered minor in nature as the proposed carport will not extend further into the required front yard or rear yard setback than the existing dwelling. And while the carport is located on a shared interior property line with a neighboring landowner, it is open on all sides, which will minimize its impact to adjacent owners. The property is designated as rural waterfront in the Hastings County official plan. making use of a carport compatible with this designation, as residential uses are permitted. The purpose of the zoning bylaws front and rear yard setbacks may be considered to prevent structures from encroaching into the waterfront area or into the public realm. But the carport does not propose to encroach further than the existing house into these required setbacks. The intent of the minimum interior side yard setback is interpreted to allow for privacy for neighboring property owners and to mitigate stormwater management concerns. The carport is not habitable space and is only intended to be used for the storage of vehicles, making any potential impacts to privacy of the adjacent neighbors minimal. Regarding stormwater management, as the area where the carport is located is already paved with a driveway and a retaining wall, new hard surface resulting from this application is minimal, and the existing drainage property of the existing drainage pattern of the property is unlikely to change. However, the owner should take care to ensure that excess water from the roof drainage is not entering the neighboring property owner's land through the use of proper roof drainage such as eave trough. Minor variance, so we need a motion. Mover is,
I'll move it, Mike.
moved by Jan, seconded by Eric. All in favor? Okay. Sorry, got carried away with my speech. I got another one now. Minor variance MB 2025-06, 183 River Heights Road, lot 35 on Plan M72, Municipality of Marmon Lake. Recommendation that the minor variance application MV 2025-05 for lands located at 183 River Heights Road, Marmon Lake, legally described as Lot 35 on Plan M72, Municipality of Marmon Lake, to permit the development of a residential dwelling with a deficient front yard setback of 13 meters be approved, subject to the following conditions. That a development agreement be entered into between the municipality of Marmon Lake and the owner to be registered on title to the subject lands at the sole cost of the owner. A copy of the registered document shall be provided to the County of Hastings, and the development agreement shall include but not be limited to implementing the recommendations of the approved species at risk habitat assessment entitled performed by Daniel Riley, BLA of Natural Resources Solutions Incorporated, dated June 19th, 2024, including any works to be undertaken. Now, proof be lodged with the municipality of Marmon Lake that a geotechnical assessment has been completed by a qualified professional to the satisfaction of the municipality of the Crow Valley Conservation Authority. If karst features identified, the study shall identify a suitable development envelope on each of the resultant parcels with consideration for the hazard, if confirmed. Any required peer review fees will be the sole responsibility of the applicant. If there are any recommendations as a result of the study, they shall be registered on title of the property through a development agreement, which may be combined with the above. And that the Committee of Adjustment is satisfied that the application meets the 4 tests of minor variance. Requested variance is desirable as it would allow for the development of the property. The requested variance may be considered minor as the difference between the permitted and proposed front yard setback is minimal and will leave a large front yard area appropriate for a rural residential dwelling. The property is designated rural waterfront in the Hastings County official plan, which permits the use of residential dwellings. The subject lands are within an area of known species at risk, the mottled dusky wing, which feeds on New Jersey tea plants. Development on properties with species at risk or their habitat is generally prohibited excuse me, unless the qualified professional has undertaken a study to review the proposed development. Section 4.3.2.6. In support of the application, a species at risk habitat assessment has been provided by Natural Resource Solutions Incorporated. Excuse me. The assessment provides several mitigation measures to ensure that construction of the lot will not negatively impact the species at risk or their habitat which will be registered on title of the property as per the condition above. The purpose of the minimum front yard setback and the zoning bylaw may be interpreted to be in place to help ensure that the public and private realm are distinct and separate. Thank you. As the setback is still relatively large and appropriate for a rural dwelling, it appears that the intent of the zoning bylaw has been met. Well, I like to talk, but that was excuse me. Gonna have a motion. Rick, Eric, and Ron. Motion by Eric, seconded by Ron. Okay, all in favor? Jen, okay. Okay. There's no other business. We need a motion to adjourn. Ron. I'll second that. Thank you.